Imagine this. You are traveling across the endless prairies of Canada late at night. The wind whispers through the tall grass. The road is empty, and suddenly, in the distance, you see a white figure running across the plains. It is not an ordinary horse. It does not move like a living creature. Locals say, what you are seeing is not alive at all. Tonight, you will hear the tragic and terrifying legend of the phantom white horse of White Horse Plain. Long ago, before towns and highways covered these lands, the vast prairies of what is now Manitoba were home to powerful tribes: the Assiniboine, the Cree, and the Sioux. Among the Assiniboine people lived a chief whose daughter was known far and wide for her extraordinary beauty. They said the prairie wind itself seemed to follow her, as if the land had fallen in love with her presence. Warriors traveled from distant regions, hoping to win her hand in marriage. But among them, two men stood above all others. Two chiefs, each powerful, each dangerous in his own way. The first was a Cree chief from the lands near Lake Winnipegosis. He was known as a skilled warrior, but also as a man who honored his word. The second was a Sioux chief from the region of Devil's Lake. He was feared for his cruelty in battle, and for the rage that burned behind his eyes. The young woman's heart belonged to the Cree chief. To prove his worth, he brought an offering to her father that few had ever seen: a magnificent white stallion, a legendary horse known as Blanco Diablo, the White Devil. This horse was said to outrun the wind, to endure days without food or water, and to carry its rider farther than any other steed on the plains. The Assiniboine chief accepted the gift, and with it, he accepted the Cree chief as his future son-in-law. But somewhere in the shadows, a heart filled with jealousy began to burn. The wedding was celebrated with song and firelight. Drums echoed across the open land. The tribes gathered in peace, believing this union would bring harmony between their people. But the Sioux chief did not celebrate. He watched from afar, his pride shattered, his desire for revenge growing with every beat of the drum. That night, he gathered his warriors. His voice was cold. His command was simple: the lovers would not leave these plains alive. As the newly married couple began their journey toward Cree territory, dark figures followed their trail across the grasslands. When the Assiniboine chief learned of the pursuit, he sent the legendary white stallion after them, hoping it would carry his daughter beyond danger. The horse ran like a spirit of the wind. The plains blurred beneath its hooves. The night swallowed the sound of its passing. For a moment, it seemed as though the lovers might escape. But hatred is patient, and vengeance does not grow tired. Slowly, relentlessly, the Sioux warriors closed the distance. In a remote stretch of prairie, the pursuers finally surrounded the fleeing couple. Steel flashed in the moonlight. Cries shattered the silence of the night. When the violence ended, the Cree chief lay lifeless upon the earth, and beside him, the Assiniboine maiden, her beauty lost to the cold stillness of death. The gray horse was captured, but the white stallion, terrified and riderless, broke free into the darkness, disappearing into the endless grasslands. The plains fell silent once more, as if the land itself were holding its breath. Years passed, and then the stories began. Travelers claimed that on moonlit nights, a white horse could be seen running across the prairie, its form glowing softly in the darkness. Those who tried to follow it found nothing but empty grass and cold wind. The elders whispered that the spirit of the slain maiden had entered the body of the horse, binding her soul to its endless flight. Others believed that the souls of both lovers now rode together, forever fleeing the violence that had taken their lives. Even after the real horse was said to have died, its phantom form continued to appear, untouched by time, unbound by death. To this day, the land where the ghostly horse was seen is known as White Horse Plain. Near the area of St. François Xavier, west of Winnipeg, a statue of a white horse now stands beside the highway, a silent monument to a legend born of love and bloodshed. Locals claim that on quiet nights, the sound of distant hooves can still be heard, even when the road lies empty. So if you ever travel through the lonely plains of Manitoba, and you see a white figure running beside the road, do not follow it. Do not call out to it, because some spirits are not meant to be found, and some legends are still running through the darkness.